All right, so the problem that we're investigating with this activity is we're trying to find out what factors affect climate basically in certain areas of Canada. What are the big ones in Canada? And does it vary or change from place to place? Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at climatograms from a bunch of different Canadian cities. Right, just from those climatograms, we're going to kind of preliminarily put them into groups together. Okay, like the climatogram of this one and the climatogram of this one kind of look alike, so I'm going to put them together, and then I'm going to put the climatograms of this one together and this one together because they look like they're kind of alike, and kind of make some preliminary groups of cities. Then, okay, what we're going to do is look up all these cities on like Google Earth or like an online atlas of your choice, but okay, look them up, and things we'll want to find out about them will be their latitudes, their altitudes, okay, because we know those are two pretty big factors affecting climate, and then any other geographical features that could affect their climate. Like if you're looking at Vancouver, it's really close to what? The ocean, things like that. Okay, so you want to just kind of, for each city, you're going to come up with just kind of a list of things that you think could affect its climate. All right, so you'll list the latitude, okay, and it'll be in degrees north. You'll list the altitude in meters, okay, and then have a look at that information along with the climatograms of the groups you made. Okay, so you already have these groups, okay, and I would say like probably like Okotoks and Calgary and Medicine Hat or whatever. They would end up in a group together because their climate graphs are going to look a lot alike, and lo and behold, their latitudes, altitudes, and other factors are also going to be similar. Everyone kind of follow? Okay, so we're going to make the preliminary groups just from climatogram shape, and then we're going to confirm those groups with the other geographical data. Okay, and then you're going to name these groups and say in the analysis, all right, the prairie group is these cities, and these are the factors that affect their climate. Their climate is like this. Okay, and so you would describe what the climate of the prairie cities would be like. All right, everyone kind of follow what we're doing there? Okay, so we're just trying to confirm if the factors that we talked about in class really do affect the climate in the way we said they did. All right, so we're just going to group them together using their climate graphs, which, as you can see, if you scroll down, we got a few of them here. Okay, there's one here for Vancouver, one for Medicine Hat, and one for St. John's. Okay, and then we've got the others here. So we got climate graph for Halifax, okay, St. John's, Newfoundland. We got Charlottetown, PEI, Prince Rupert, BC, right? Toronto, Ontario, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Okay, we got Regina, we got Victoria, we've got Vancouver, Whitehorse, Iqaluit, okay, Calgary. Remember how I was telling you June's the wettest month in Calgary? Like by a significant margin. Okay, and Edmonton, right? And Churchill, okay, Manitoba there. And then we got a few other ones here. We got Thunder Bay, Montreal, okay, Inukjuk. That's how you pronounce that, by the way. Okay, what you have to watch for is there's two different spellings of Inukjuk. Okay, there's this, which is the Inuit spelling, and then there's a French spelling. So when you look it up on your laptop, on your Chromebook, probably not today, but okay, there may be two different spellings of Inukjuk. Okay, so you might have to use a different spelling. Okay, we got Hopedale, Labrador there, and then we got Cornwallis Islands. Okay, so it's Resolute. Okay, Resolute, which is in Nunavut. Oh yeah, on this one here, these ones, there's a maximum temperature, number of wet days. And these were the only climate graphs I could find for these places. They were very small. So you're going to use whichever one is the average daily temperature. Is it it's the red line? So use the red line. All right. Yeah. Now, the thing you need to watch for, guys, in terms of the shape of these climate graphs, okay, especially when they look alike like these ones do, like Edmonton and Iqaluit and stuff, make sure you make note of the scale, because the scales aren't the same on these graphs. So don't just look at the shape and go, oh, that one and that one go together, because the scale could make a really dry place look really wet if they pick the right scale, right? Because the bars could be really tall just because they skewed the scale to be really, really small. Okay, so make sure you look at the scale when you're deciding what things should go together. Okay, if the maximum rainfall in this month is only like 2 millimeters, but this graph looks exactly the same and it's 15, you don't want to group these two cities together, right? So just make sure you look at the scale when you're doing that part of it. Okay, so what we're basically going to have you guys do, okay, is, okay, we're going to generate a hypothesis. So the if part of this hypothesis should be, okay, so the if part of the hypothesis should go if, and then you list, okay, some factors that affect climate, if these factors affect climate, okay. Okay, the and part will simply describe what we're doing. We're comparing climate data for various Canadian cities. Okay, then I want you to tell me a few patterns that you're going to see. Okay, like a simple, obvious pattern would be that higher latitude cities will be colder. Okay, so that could be one thing that you can write down, but give me a few patterns, okay, based on these factors that affect climate. So further north, colder. Okay, that's a simple one, but okay, so let's say patterns that will be observed. Observed? That's terrible. Perhaps my brain is absent or absent, maybe. Okay, then I wrote absent after that. Patterns. Ah, I need Christmas holidays right now. Okay, patterns observed. Okay, everyone kind of follow that part. Obviously, there's no variables here, right? This isn't an actual procedure that we're performing. Okay, it's basically just a climate study. All right, so it's not like a true lab in that sense. All right, so like we said, you're going to have those climate graphs, okay, and you're going to probably have each member of your group, because you are going to do this in a group to reduce the amount of work, okay, split up the cities between your group members and have one group member, will look up for his 5 or her 5 cities, the latitude, the altitude, and any other geographic features. Then you can just kind of pool your data, and that'll save us a lot of time. When you hand in your version of the lab report, I only need to see your 5 cities data. Okay, you don't need to copy everybody else's data that they got, but you are going to use everybody's when you're deciding what your groups are going to be. So your group will all have the same climate groups. Okay, whatever you guys decide on, that's fine. Okay, you are working together at least on that part of it. Well, within here. So yeah, what you guys need to do is, like, for the first part, yeah, you can put cities together based on the climate graph shape. Then, okay, you are doing these 5 cities, you're doing these 5 cities, look up the other data, okay, and write it down. So, Calgary, latitude would be what, like 49 or 50 degrees north, and the altitude would be 10,000 or 1,050 meters, blah, blah, blah. Like, you just put down that data and any other geographic features close to Rocky Mountains, blah, blah, blah. Okay, do that for each of your 5. Everyone else is doing that for their 5, or however many you have to do for your group, for the number of people in your group, and then sit down and look at them and go, okay, we put these ones in a group together, and look, the data that we wrote down and looked up off of Google Earth or whatever is pretty similar. So yes, this group should go together because these are the factors that affect the climate of the prairie cities, and these are the ones that affect the maritime cities, or whatever groups you decide you're going to make. Yeah. Well, yeah, because we're not going to get into it today, but I'm just kind of explaining how it's going to work today. Yes, on Monday we'll have all of class Monday to do this. Yeah. No. No. How mean do you think I am? That's like Grinch-like. No, I'm not going to do that. No. Well, I wouldn't take that out on you. I'd take it out on the people who deserve, like Ryan Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy. Um, let's say like 3 or 4. Yeah, that way we're splitting it up. I think there's 20 cities, aren't there? I think there are. Okay, so that's what we'll be looking at. I'll explain it again when we come back from the break, but that's what we're doing, okay?